I'm live. You know, I'm trying to use my phone. I'm trying to stay away from my desktop. Like, well, I guess I need to, and I'm still trying to learn how to use my new tripod with my new lights. Got new fairy lights. Yay. Alright, so yeah, I'll rotate. Hold on. I don't wanna, but I can't. I don't know how to make it not. Okay, so. Okay, here we go. Let me take it out of the cradle because I don't want to break it. Oop, I don't want to break the tripod, but it's not behaving. All right. So, like I said, I don't want to go to my desktop, but I know this topic might be desktop worthy. I actually need to turn on my other lights also. Maybe, yeah, just set it here. Sitting on my couch. Lift this up a little more. Getting things ready. Normally on a Friday, I would be at practice, band practice. Let me turn on my lights. Adjusting lights. Okay, lights on. I like these. Ooh, that's good. I like that. All right, hi. So yeah, normally I would be on a Friday night at band practice, but we also have a rule. Well, I'm in 3 bands, maybe 4 now. I don't know, but one of the rules. Luckily, I like to compound things, so I could talk about that at a later date. But I'm actually, yeah, in several bands, but then 2 of the bands, some of the same members. So there we go. But anyway, so part of one of the rules is we don't practice day after or week after a performance, and um, and then we just know ourselves we're professional. It's like we don't have to. So yeah, hi. Yeah, this looks great. I like this setup. I'm gonna be doing this more, but uh, there's also the manifesting lately, and the things I've been. Sorry, I'm reaching for a drink that's gonna keep me high vibing and whatnot. But I'm not supporting it. Okay, so I kind of want to drip into how I like science fiction and space and fantasy and all this other stuff. As you can see, my backdrop back there is like this kind of space place. When I was growing up, I used to draw pictures of uh, not necessarily like spiritualness, but like um, planets and stuff. Like I have my drawings, I just need to pull them out. But yeah, I used to draw a lot. Um, that kind of stuff was the thing that made me want to draw, inspired me to draw. And so yeah, so I'm very much into science stuff. Um, and I kind of want to get on here to talk about the space stuff that's been happening in the last few weeks. So the news, well, I can work backwards, but let me work ping pongy. All right, so today, um, some astronauts came back from space, from the space station, and I think a few days ago they had sent off a few more. Um, and it's a world effort. If you didn't already know this, there's a lot of people that don't realize yet that there is people in outer space, like literally right now, space station. But they're out there, they're doing scientific work and stuff. So yeah, so some people came back from space. I kind of read like I want to say like a clickbaity title. I didn't read the article saying like Tom Cruise is going to be the first civilian to go on a spacewalk or something. I'm like, Okay, whatever. Um, so there's that as of today. The other day, um, I guess I had to go back. So the other day, uh, there was a launch of a craft experimenting to see what would happen. Like, would people of Earth be able to defend themselves from asteroids hitting the planet? And so they did the science, they did the work, they did the math, and all the good stuff, and they were able to land um, a craft on a asteroid's rotating moon satellite. And I think just as of either yesterday or the day before, or something like that, they did. They went ahead and just exploded it, blew it up, just because they, again, as a part of their experiment, they just wanted to know, can it be done? Then it brings me to this. Um, there has been at least two attempts already to send a rocket to the moon, and there's been issues around the fuels, issues around the weather, and I think they're planning on doing it again. I'm gonna look that up really quick. They plan on trying it again, but quite honestly, I worry. I've heard, most of us in the spiritual uh, realm may have heard, things like, oh, the moon's not real, moon's a satellite, there's the moon's hollow, this and that, all this, stuff. Um, and of course, the more common conspiracy theory is that nobody ever actually landed on the moon, and it was all faked and staged and stuff. So that's a more common conspiracy theory. But then there's others, like I said, things like the moon is hollow. uh, it's actually a spacecraft, things like that. I don't know. I listen. I start to feel more and more like my dad every day. And he he says, I just keep an open mind. It's like, I don't know. Look. And that's what brings me to this, because even the Nobel Peace Prize, no, Nobel Prize, not the Peace Prize, the Nobel Prize winners in physics. I'm gonna look that up too. Actually, I prefer to look that up first. So, the Nobel Prize in physics this year pretty much explained that what we're experiencing, if you're sitting here watching me right now, all of it's fake. All of it. Okay? Whatever it is you see in front of your eyes, all of it's fake. Um, I've learned um, our eyes are a part of our brains, and our brains get stimulation. I don't know how I'm linking that, but basically, people in the spiritual realm have been saying the universe is a hologram, or it's donut shaped, or something of that, like something of that nature. That makes sense. Um, but not locally real. So let me read exactly what they said, and we could talk a little, because then I'm gonna, I don't know, do some other stuff. Um, because I'm working on things. I'm writing. I need to get onto my music more. They say my vocals are back in shape. It's like, even though like sinuses and allergies and stuff like that have been an issue, I think I'm uh, ready to record again. I don't know. We'll see. Alrighty. So It's not easy to read with my contacts in sometimes. All right, so Nobel Prize in Physics 2022. Alan Aspect. Interesting, his name. So he's sharing the prize with John Kausler and Anton Zellinger, um, for experiments with entangled photons, and that's like light, entangled photons, establishing the violation of Bell inequities and pioneering quantum information science. Entangled photons. Hmm, sounds really interesting. You know what's really interesting too? Um, when I started biohacking, it was around about 2015, 16. And it was then the Nobel Prize in, I can't exactly remember what category, but um, that scientist, he named and claimed autophagy as far as um, being able to regenerate our bodies by refraining from eating. Okay. So that's what makes me wonder here. Maybe that's the reason why I wanted to record tonight, even though I kind of didn't really. I don't know. But I just wanted to make it known that something's happening, y'all. And I am not typically a conspiracy theorist at all. Like, there's people, even some channels I watch, there's people right now, again, where I get all this information about, oh, the moon's not hollow and all this other stuff. I don't know. Do I believe in aliens? I don't know. That kind of stuff. Uh, the things that people like. I know somebody. I guess he's my friend. I don't know, but I know people who believe in the the cloud making grids and stuff. Like, I don't know. I don't know. So, just like what my dad says, I keep an open mind. Got to keep an open mind out here. Okay. So I know this is gonna kind of seem a little random, but I just want it to be known that I feel like with this discovery that more people are going to start, I don't want to say experimenting, but more people are going to really start to embrace the idea or the concept of co-creation and manifesting. So let me read the article. Okay. Or the press release, sorry. Okay. Wow. I'm being nosy about their details. All right. Okay. Aspect, Clauser, and Zellinger have each conducted groundbreaking experiments using entangled quantum states where two particles behave like a single unit even when they are separated. That sounds like the all to me. Sounds like fifth dimension to me. Their results have cleared the way for new technology based on quantum information. The ineffable effects of quantum mechanics are starting to find applications. There is now a large field of research that includes quantum computers, quantum networks, and secure quantum encrypted communication, telepathy. And then I don't know the the other things, but yeah, like wow, okay. One key factor in this development is how quantum mechanics allows two or more particles to exist in what is called an entangled state, chaos. Even a few months ago, I've read about the chaos theory. There has to be chaos before there's calm. It has to be gnarly little mess, right? What happens to one of the particles in the entangled pair determines what happens to the other particle, even if they are far apart. This is interesting to me. For a long time, the question was whether the correlation was because the particles in an entangled pair contained hidden variables, instructions that tell them which result they should give in an experiment. Okay, I didn't understand all that. In the 1960s, John Stuart Bell developed the mathematical inequality that is named for him. Okay, this states that if there are hidden variables, the correlation between the results of a large number of measurements. Hmm, the correlation between the results of a large number of measurements will never exceed a certain value. However, quantum mechanics predicts that a certain type of experiment will violate Bell's inequality, thus resulting in a stronger correlation that would otherwise be possible. I don't know what that means. I would have to reread this. See, as a teacher, I was like, all right, you need to reread this. All right, so for a long time, the question was whether the correlation was because the particles in it contain hidden variables. Okay, so we're talking about particles that are smaller than atoms that you may have read about in school. So they're subparticles. They are even just, and they're trying to figure out like even the makeup of those. Like there's some parts that we still might not know about. That's what this is saying or sounding like. The particles in an entangled pair contained hidden variables, instructions that tell them which result they should give in an experiment. Um, how can I put places? Okay, so hidden variables. We all are dictated by mathematical equations. So if there are mathematical equations dictate movement in being, and if there is some particle that has some kind of incomplete uh, equation going on inside of it, I guess scientists can make only limited predictions, I guess, based on that information. Um, and I guess this Bell, I'm assuming he was a doctor, but I'll just say Mr. Bell. Um, hmm. So he's saying if there were missing parts of the instructions of the equations of a particle are missing, that it, of course, it's limited. It's going to be limited because you don't know. It's like algebra, basically. You don't know how to solve for x because you don't have the rest. You have too many empty spaces to fill it in. Too many empty spaces, and that you won't get results that you might think you want or need, right? So that was the Bell inequality. Okay, and so what are they saying now? The quantum mechanics predicts a certain type of experiment will violate. So again, how does that make sense? Wow. Okay, so somehow between these three other scientists in the last year or so have, I guess, come up with the empty spaces. Okay, come up with the empty spaces. However, quantum mechanics predicts that a certain type of experiment will violate. John Clauser developed John Bell's ideas, leading to a practical experiment. So I guess it was just theory. Like, well, in the '60s, I don't know, they had some things. When he took the measurements, they supported quantum mechanics by clearly violating a Bell inequality. This means that quantum mechanics cannot be replaced by a theory that uses hidden variables. Hmm. Basically, if you don't have everything, it's not gonna work. Okay. Anyway, some loopholes remained after John Clausen's experiment. Alan Aspect developed the setup using it in a way that closed an important loophole. He was able to switch to measurement settings after ooh, he was able to switch to measurement settings after an entangled pair had left its source. So the setting that existed so the setting that existed when they were emitted could not effectively. So you mean like he let them launch and then he filled them in? Hmm. Using refined tools and a long series of experiments, Anton Zeilinger started to use entanglement quantum states. Among other things, his research group has demonstrated a phenomenon called quantum. What did I just say? Quantum teleportation. Using refined tools, I'm rereading the paragraph, y'all. Using refined tools and long series of experiments, Anton Zeilinger started to use entangled quantum states. Among other things, his research has demonstrated a phenomenon called quantum teleportation, which makes it possible to move a quantum state from one particle to one at a distance. Change the measurements, change the standards, change the game. Y'all, oh my goodness. Hold on. And now there's a quote at the end. It's one of the chair committees of the Nobel. It is become increasingly clear that a new kind of quantum technology is emerging. We can see that the laureates worked with entangled states is of great importance, even beyond the fundamental questions about the interpretation of quantum mechanics, says Anders Irchbach. Hmm. It's about to be real, y'all. And the only reason why I brought up the other thing, the over Nobel Prize, like everybody now knows about intermittent fasting and autophagy, or they halfway know it. They heard it on some kind of morning talk show, coffee show, or whatever, and got like the elevator pitch for it all. And yeah, now everybody knows about, all that stuff. But I'm saying this in 2022 right now, what they're talking about is major right now. Okay, so I don't know, like my audience out here. So, what kind of technology do you think that they would be able to do with this? How can I explain this? Okay, so they're basically saying if two particles were like doing some of the same things together at the same time, that's cool and all. But what if we separate them? Wouldn't one not be doing the same thing at the same time? What they're saying is they change the measurements of particles each the moment that they do what they do now and adjusting maybe one or other or both to its same kind of like calibration. And so now they are the same again, even though they're apart. That's a form of teleportation. So it wasn't as they not only broke them apart. Explain it. I'm sorry. They broke it apart and it's still the same. It's the same thing in the same distance. And that leads to a lot of the things I've been thinking about now, like with quantum, like I don't know, it's like I understand the grid. I feel as though a lot of the work that I'm hearing from Joe Dispenza makes sense to me. Sorry, playing with it. And Bruce Lipton. Between those two, and as far as like science, I'm just over the moon to hear about them. And I I have come to understand like manifestation. We get it from the all, you know, and the way that Dr. Dispenza kind of explains it is that it's like from this field, this open space. I like math, and I can kind of see how in geometry how this is basically the open grid, right? And when I'm trying to explain geometry to kids, little ones like no older than 8, this is how I go about doing it. So we talk about dimensions. I'm getting to a point. So we talk about dimensions, and this is how I explain it to kids who are 6 and 7, 7 and 8. Okay, so you make a dot. I have to kind of explain it wrong at first. When I tell them this, I say, "Look, I'm about to explain something to you. By the end of it, it's gonna be wrong, but I have to start it somewhere." So you make a dot. Dot is one dimension. It has no other way to measure itself. Dot. Okay. Then two dimensions. It has two ways to measure. Mm? Mm. In math, length and width. Okay. Two dimensions. When you see things on paper, I'm putting this in parentheses. When you see things written on paper, you draw something, it's 2D. But 2D, you can't put your hands on. I'll come back to that point in a second. So, two dimension. Usually, our representation of it when we see it with our eyes is flat. That's all. It has a length and a width. All right, 3D. All of us, everything you see and touch and is around us, three dimensionals. So, length, width, um, length, width, height, and I guess volume, scope. I don't know, that kind of thing. So three dimensions. So that's why and how we now have things that we can put in our hands. If we can touch it, it is three dimensional. Now the question then is, this is where I get a smart alecky little kid and I say, well, Miss Harrington, you're holding a piece of paper and you just said that drawing is two dimensional. But it's not. You're right, Billy Bob. Uh, the paper and the drawing is not two dimensional, it is three dimensional. That's how a lot of us, start to realize like how we take certain dimensions for granted. And this is making some points here. So we take our second dimensions for granted. We just assume that 2D is like 3D, and it's not. Yeah. And 2D is so, there's no other way for me to say this. 2D is so basic that we can't even think about how basic it is. Like, our minds can't even wrap ourselves around it. Because I'm about to now get into you. 4D, fourth dimension. A lot of people think that's time, but that's not. There's no such thing as time. If you're watching this video right now, I may have recorded it on a certain day of the week, a Friday, but you're on another day. But you're still here with me. I know. So there's no such thing as time. So if there's no such thing as time, the fourth D is actually thought, imagination, the real magic. What I've been saying, what I've been realizing over the last month and weeks and whatnot. It's like fourth dimension is the magic. That's what all these, you know, great new thought gurus had like said. It's like we have mind. We have a brain, yes, but we also have mind. And mind is the fuel. I wouldn't even say fuel. I would say it is the realization of the fourth dimension, the activation, the living, where it is. Yeah. So all our thoughts um, are fourth dimension, ideas, all these things. Okay. And yeah, our bodies can generate these thoughts under the right conditions. Our bodies can also influence thoughts based on the right conditions. I'm working on some books, y'all, seriously. So let me say that again. I, I don't know if I can say it again. So, but basically, I don't think there is no such thing as a hierarchy when it comes to these dimensions, but when you're in one or more of them, you don't realize the purity of the dimension that you're in. So, most of us, again, if you're watching this, you live in 3D and 4D. Because if you have ideas, you have thoughts, you have, you know, um, yeah, thoughts. And I say emotions. Emotions don't live there, but they get influence. They are the influencer of your thoughts. Emotions is kind of like what we have assigned chemical and biological reactions in our body. Okay. And we have now have a lexicon of emotions and what we think on it. 40. Yeah. Yeah, I told you it's gonna get real. So we are, I don't know, we are indebted to all of the dimensions. We need them all. Um, thus we wouldn't have an existence. So anyway, 4D. And then 5D, from what I understand it to be, is pure love, communal uh, idea, thought, love. I don't want to say thought, but all love, you know? So maybe I should look that up since I'm with you still. And yeah, I might be taking a lot of this from a book, y'all, cause but basically what I'm saying is we need all of our dimensions. We use them all, and a lot of us, of course, don't have an idea. And as we start to see more and more and more, this news, the Nobel news, I really do believe more people, our existence is gonna um, compound, yeah, quantified, literally. Okay, um, if they're talking about teleportation, wow, we've made it, right? I don't know, you know. So, but anyway, so 5D. I'm still back on this article. You know what? I'm gonna link this article in the description here. Let me send it to myself so I don't forget it. So yeah, this is really important. So I really want people to realize, like maybe I am a conspiracy theorist, but in a different way. It's like I'm not like, oh, there's aliens and oh, you know. I genuinely feel like I am a truth, but even that, the wording itself is flawed. That I genuinely want to seek and see things, you know? So, yeah, I think I'm going to explain what seems to be happening in this world. If our bodies are our anchors to our mind and eventually our souls, and if we are being polluted and poisoned, to feel sluggish and overtly stimulated, poorly stimulated, to not activate more of our imaginations, our 4D, to not stoop to plainly trying to just survive. That is a hierarchy of needs. Um, is it Miles? Oh, I gotta look him up, and it's not. And then it overlays with Bloom's textology. Oh my goodness, I cannot talk tonight. So there are so many things going on here that if our bodies are being, walked around in a store today, and I just couldn't imagine being around somebody who is emotionally like unintelligent. Now, I don't even want to say immature, but just completely out of pocket. And what I've come to realize is that that's how who the they are or whatever. Again, I'm not into the conspiracies. What they want us to focus on, just barely getting by. They don't want us to be thinking. They don't want us, to make connections. They don't want us doing any of that. They want us just barely wondering, like, I gotta eat, I gotta sleep, I got. And then dangle. Now I feel like I need to look up the hierarchy of needs. And it's not, see, I'm gonna, hold on. Hierarchy of needs. Maslow. Yeah, there you go. So if people are too busy, let me explain this pyramid. And yeah, so if people are too busy basically trying to, let me click on these again. It's hard to read what like I have on the context that you would think I can read close, but I can't. So basic needs, things like safety, food, water, warmth, rest. Like there are people who don't have these things on, like is a grander design of, powers that be, whoever that is, that they want people in that low state, like that pyramid, the very bottom, the very two bottom parts. They want they want people to be at the bottom. They're controllable that way. Yeah. They don't feel safe. The opposite is not feeling secure. You feel fearful when you're not safe. And fear is your body's, no, no, no. It is our mind's interpretation of an accelerated state in our body. But that accelerated state in our body could also be love. So there's the two. There is a battle. I don't necessarily believe in the devil. I don't think I ever did. I think I always played with that idea because my dad never believed. He's like, why would I be afraid of the devil? Like God's on my side, you know. So fear and love. Somehow this iteration of Earth or whatever have twisted fear and love into such a morbid, un I just can't think of the word, disgusting, like horrible, horrible thing that has happened. Fear and love is like a weird paradox. These are the two sides that bring the chemical reaction in human bodies for the mind to interpret they're probably the same feeling. And the biggest trick of it all is how over the years 4D, our minds, played games with us, literally, interpreting feelings of ecstasy, pure joy, undeserving as insanity, being fearful in psychology world literally is a link into attachment for others. I've listened to authors who go and use studies like first few dates people go on, if they go on amusement park rides, they're more likely to fall in love for fear and excitement, you know, raising up the adrenaline and all that good stuff is encouraging into human attachment. Very interesting. So we as a society have, I don't know if it was on purpose. I don't know if somebody infiltrated or anything, but we've carried it through. We've carried it through a lot of things to the point where we are our own prisons. We are our own prisons because we let group mind or society tell us how to think, tell us how to feel, train us, train us the whole time, you know? Train us not to feel, train us how to feel, train us what to ignore, what to pay attention to. We're being trained. And once we move past our, physiological and safety needs, then we've got this need for belonging and love and attachment, right? If you know you know where your food's going to be from day to day, this is so amazing. Like, I don't want to just pause and know what I'm doing, but I feel like I should even write a spiritual treatise or something based on this, because there's so much here, so much that if you're too busy trying to, get food, like, of course you're just gonna latch on to anybody that's offering it, and that's the, again, the belonging and love needs. If they are saying working on the head game there too, that's gonna work on your esteem, and then they are in control. Those are the next two rings in the pyramid. So after safety needs, you've got belongingness and love needs, and then esteem needs. Okay? So think of it this way. It kind of covers a lot of these needs if there is a group of people who've been marginalized for centuries and they get shown images of themselves a certain way or ignored, that's neglect is also, abusive also. And if small hope, I don't want to say small, but if there is hope and it looks a certain way to, again, a marginalized group of people, then that's what I assume is the only way. That if they had on certain kinds of clothes, they would be okay. If they dressed a certain way, if they did their hair a certain way, if they talked a certain way, then they would be okay. Because The people who are training them to be this way hold all the needs, or so they think. And that's again the whole unfortunate facade. It's all a head game. Because once you get past the esteem part, caring or not caring, oh goodness, I put on one of my other pages today a reel, I think, about how when you don't care about what other people think about you, you are free and you are awesome. Yeah, that's exactly what the last one is, self actualization. Oh my goodness. Oh, wait, I'm trying to read it. Okay, it says achieving one's full potential, including creative activities. Yeah, but I tell you, there's a battle. There is a battle between our physical bodies, our mental bodies, interpretation, in a collective society. Yeah, there is a battle. And now I want to do the Bloom's. uh, where is Bloom's? So yeah, so I feel like what's gonna happen more that the science is gonna get broken down more and more and more. We're gonna get quantum, y'all. It's coming faster than you realize. It's coming. It's already here. There's no such thing as time. See, told you. Oh my goodness. And so even I have spiritual insights when it comes to Bloom's text. I don't see. I don't know. I can't talk. Where's my drink? Where's my water? Um, what blooms like the pyramid is also a pyramid. I like this one. So at the bottom rung, let's go over this one. The bottom rung is remember, recall. So as a teacher, I gotta kind of know this. It's like, um, again, this is 2022, a couple of years after the shutdowns and people had to go on computer to teach and learn and stuff. But then, um, yeah. So schools, and I love my school because we don't do this. Schools were about just learn facts, repeat facts, learn facts, repeat facts. Okay. Um, so that first rung is remember. The second one is understand. When you get, say, like high school, college, you get to have debates, and then you can be like, well, I want to, or no, 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 application. I feel like, well, even in, yeah, even in middle school and in elementary too, understanding. It's like, what does that mean? Like using that information and melding it together into your basically integration. So understanding, apply, taking all these things, this information around you, and um, putting it to use some kind of way. You know, putting Legos together, basically. Then analyze, breaking down the information into components and parts. So knowing the information and analyzing, breaking it down to be like, oh, so this is why. Basically, what I'm doing right now. So it's like take some of this and do this, and take some of that, do this, some of that. You know, those things. And then evaluate, judging the value of information or ideas. This is a tricky word, and I didn't like that they put the word judging there. I guess determining would have been a better word. So evaluating, seeing, will this work? Will this not work? Okay, no. But then they have to also come up with some criteria for the evaluation, right? I don't know. But anyway, I'm nerding out a little bit. Sorry. Judging the value of information or ideas. Evaluate. So does it work? Does it not work? Does it work? Does it not work? And then at the top of the rung for the Bloom's pyramid is create. It's the magic. Yeah, I knew I was getting there. It's the magic, y'all. Okay? Like, seriously, if you want me to write this book about how Bloom's taxonomy can be like overlaid into spirituality, please, please, I can do it. Okay? Just did it for you. So creation is the magic. 4D. Well, no, let me take that back. Create is the use of the force and all that good stuff. So if you understand and apply and embody, I feel like, and I don't know, if I was redoing this, I would do this a little differently because now I'm thinking of it as a process now and not necessarily as a thing to be done. Maybe this shouldn't be a stepwise thing. That's an idea. I don't know. Maybe it shouldn't be like a pyramid. Like it's like it implies that people have to go, be do it in blah. It implies that people have to do it in this order. When really, I don't see how you can't have other things there. But anyway, I may be ending this, but this is really great information for me and for you out there. I'm telling you, like there are some things I'm gonna have to definitely put the article in the description and see, hope that there are people out there picking up what I'm putting down, what I'm saying. Like I really feel like YouTube is the crystal radio or radio things that we used to do. Pirate, CDs and stuff like that. I don't know. It really is. It really is. And I'm glad to be a part of seeing so much of the technology happen. And I know I'm still very young, even though my birthday is coming up very soon. I'm honored to have the name I have. And my name means advisor. It does. And I'm honored to be what I've come to realize a watcher, a seer. And I even had ideas the other night. I don't know what my future brings or my next now. I think all the work I've been doing and the thinking I've been doing is so valuable and I've been so appreciative. But what led it all to the wit, I can't regret either, right? I can't regret because it brought me here. And I'm hoping I'm looking for words, but I'm hoping I'm here longer to, I was going to say endure, investigate more of the mission. If, if we are all timeless, and maybe I'm remembering, maybe I'm remembering